Hi YouTube community, my name is John. I want to take a few minutes to discuss the idea of these uncertain times that we're in and why that's actually kind of a misnomer. Almost an oxymoron, but I'll call it a misnomer because I think that's more accurate. Today is Saturday, November 7th, so we've been in this pandemic, the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic for, 7 or 8 months now. Since mid-March, I think it was, early April, something like that, or maybe a little bit before that. But so it's been several months. I live in Kirkland, Washington, and kind of where, as far as I know, I don't remember all the details about where it started. I mean, of course, I remember the supposed details about where it started, but I don't remember all the details about the whole progression. But Kirkland, Washington is where it, as far as I know, where it kind of started in the U.S., and that's where I live. And I kind of wanted to take a few minutes to discuss the idea of these uncertain times. I've heard people, I think by now we've all heard that idea countless times of, stress, anxiety, fear during these uncertain times. I kind of want to take a couple minutes to discuss why that's a misnomer and why that's maybe a foolish way of looking at it. And I don't really know where to begin, so I'll just start by saying this. I'm going to say that even before the pandemic, life was always uncertain. Times were always uncertain. What do I mean? Well, yeah, maybe the pandemic has made things more challenging and has created more disorder in life, more confusion, perhaps even more inconvenience. Life has always been uncertain, even before the pandemic. It seems that people talk about the uncertain times with regards to their jobs, their finances, their health, all the things that, and don't get me wrong, of course, this pandemic has had a huge impact on many areas of our life, maybe all areas of our life. But before the pandemic, things were in a way no less certain, things were no more certain than they are now. Even before the pandemic, you could lose your job, you could lose your health, you could lose your finances. Maybe it's more so now because of how the pandemic has affected jobs and finances and health, etc. But life has always been uncertain. We never know what's going to happen. It seems like the idea of life being certain, it maybe makes us feel better about ourselves because it makes us feel like we're in control. Let me ask you this, though. Who do we want to be in control? Do we want ourselves to be in control? Do you want to be in control? Do you want me to be in control? Nobody really has control. We may think we do until we lose it. If everyone's in control, then no one is in control. We may think that we have control over our own lives, and that may be true to a degree, until we lose that control, until we lose our health, until we lose our finances, until we lose our job, until we lose this or that. So maybe we never had control in the first place. Maybe things were never certain in the first place. Maybe the whole idea of times being certain is just a way for us to feel better about ourselves and like we're in control of things. But again, like I say, if everyone's in control, then no one's in control. You can't have it both ways. Think about that. You can't have it both ways. If you went into a grocery store, talked to the manager, and 15 managers came up, and you said, well, who's in charge? Well, we're all in charge. But who's really in charge? Who's the head honcho? Well, we're all in charge. Okay, so there's no one in charge. It seems that the whole idea of there being... the fact that we use the expression uncertain times implies that before the pandemic, or maybe even after the pandemic, life will be certain. Probably helps us to feel like we're in control. And like we know what's going to happen. Like it's essentially implying that we know what's going to happen. That we have a crystal ball and we can predict the future. It probably makes us feel good and feel in control. Like we need to be in control. Because it seems like there's a lot of fear and anxiety when we don't have control. So it kind of makes me wonder, where is our peace coming from? Does our peace come from our circumstances? Does it? If it does, then anytime our circumstances change for the worse, then so does our peace. That's not how I want to live. Have times ever really been certain? I guess we could lie to ourselves and say yes, because again, that helps us to feel in control, and therefore it helps us to feel peace. Because when people don't have control over a situation, they often feel wary or weary or anxious or fearful about it because they don't know what's going to happen. When we're in control of something, maybe that makes us feel peaceful about it because we'll get the things that we want, or the things that we want to have happen will happen. Problem with that, if everyone's in control and everyone's getting what they want, well, do you see the problem there? I guess on a very basic level, what if I want the Seahawks to win and you want the Rams to win? Can't have both ways. I know that's a trivial example, but let's ask a different question. What if I want that job promotion but you want the same one? Only one of us can have it. And if someone else is making the decision, which is usually how that works, then it's out of our control, especially if, say, we both have the same qualifications. But it seems that having the perspective that times are certain is a lie. It's a lie that we like to tell ourselves because it helps us to feel comfortable and feel like we're in control. And like because we feel like we need to be in control. Because we don't trust other people, we don't trust God. I hope this has made a little bit of sense. It's kind of bothered me to a degree that how many times I've heard people talk about these uncertain times and how we'll get through these uncertain times, which of course we will get through them, whether regardless of what happens. That's how people are. We grow. We take things on, and we confront challenges, and might some people die along the way? I don't want to make light of that, but might some people die along the way? Sure. Might some bad things happen along the way? Sure. Are we afraid of those challenges though? Are we afraid of what is guaranteed to happen? Are we afraid of death, which we're all going to die? Are we afraid of tragedies, which tragedies likely will continue to happen? And again, I'm not making light of any of those things. But the whole idea of control and certainty, it's kind of a farce. I mean, we like to think that way because it helps us feel better, like we're in control, but we're not. So then you have to ask, who is in control? If we're not in control, because we're really not at the end of the day, maybe we have control over some things. I have control over myself, my own choices. That's about all I have control over is my own choices. I don't have control over anyone else. I don't have control over you, my neighbors, my family members, my friends. Everyone makes their own choices. So maybe even especially in that regard, things always have been and will be uncertain because I only have control over myself. So maybe I'll end with that. Just kind of take that in, that what do we have control over? I only have control over myself. So what can I do? I can make the best decisions that I can in a given circumstance. Hopefully I will make choices, selfless choices, choices that benefit others, maybe hopefully even more than myself. But that's a choice that I get to make. That's a choice that every person gets to make. That's really the only, in a way, maybe the only certainty that we have, is that we all get to make those choices for ourselves. So I hope this has made some sense. Like I said, it's kind of bothered me that how many people have referred to these times as these uncertain times. Again, because life has always been uncertain. But it seems like we say that because when things are certain, or when we think that things are certain, it helps us to feel like we're in control. Like we need to be in control. I hope this has made some sense. Just kind of wanted to share the opposite side of that coin and to share some insight, and really maybe if nothing else, to give people peace. Maybe it's ultimately about that. People tend to have peace when they feel like they're in control, and when they're not in control of a situation, they don't feel at peace. Where is our peace coming from? Is it coming from our being in control, or is it coming from the Lord? Is it coming from our situation and circumstances, which can change in the blink of an eye? Or does it come from Jesus? John 14:27 says, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give as the world gives. Do not let your heart be troubled, do not be afraid." John 16:33 says almost along the same lines. John 16:33 says, "In this world you will have trouble. But take heart, I have overcome the world." The first part of that scripture, John 16:33, says, "I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace." What is the emphasis on? Is it on us being in control, or is it on peace? Especially if you throw together John 16:33 and John 14:27, what does it say? Ultimately, if you were to take those two scriptures and throw them together into one scripture, what would it say? It would say life is going to be tough. You're going to face challenges, a lot of them. But look to me for your peace. Look to Jesus for your peace. So I'm going to leave you with that, something to maybe consider. Where is our peace coming from? Is it coming from the lie that we tell ourselves that we have control? And it is a lie. But does our peace come from that lie, or does it come from Jesus? I'm going to turn off the comment section because I understand that this is probably a sensitive thing right now, and there's probably a lot of opinions out there. I'm not trying to change everybody's mind or anybody's mind, really. My goal is to kind of just share a different perspective, share the opposite side of the coin. Of course, everybody gets to continue to believe whatever they choose to believe. My goal isn't to change anybody's mind about anything, rather just to kind of share some light and a different perspective. So I'm turning off the comment section because I think we've all seen what happens in the comment sections when in a questionable or controversial video or perspective, is that people tend to get in arguments, and next thing you know, there's verbal fistfights happening, and that's not what I want. I just wanted to share a new perspective that hopefully encourages people, gives people some peace. I know it's encouraged me because I believe it to be true. I believe that I don't have control. And I never have, and I probably never will. And I'm okay with that because I trust the one who does have control. I hope that's been encouraging, and I wish everybody the best. Thank you.